What's up, guys? Welcome to the Coach Fitz podcast, where we simplify exercise and nutrition so that the average person can look and feel incredible. I'm your host, Brian Fitzsimmons. Let's get it started. What's up, everybody? Hope everybody had an amazing week and an amazing Halloween. Remember, hope you enjoyed the candy. We're not crazy here. We don't abstain from sugar or anything for no reason. One day out of the week, one day out of the year, not going to kill you. Today's topic is going to be all about exercise variety. Okay, I've been having a couple conversations with people, TikTok, Facebook. Everybody's like, oh, I go to this CrossFit gym or like some sort of like small boutique gym, or even the big ones where it's like, oh, the trainer gives us a new exercise all the time. It's great. It's awesome. And it's like, while you think that, it might not be the best option. And more times than not, it's not the best option. So let's take it from the beginning. What is the problem with it? Why is it such an issue? Well, for starters, it is keeping your body in the same spot. You're learning the movement. You're not giving your body a chance to get any better at it. You're just always learning. And then the adaptations that happen are minimal at best, because all that's really happening is that your body is figuring out how to move the weight efficiently. Your central nervous system is getting a little touch of like what it's supposed to be doing. And that's about it. Okay. If you kept going with it, your body would acclimate, your body would find an efficient way to move that weight, doing that exact same motion. And then you're going to get a lot more benefit as far as muscle building, as far as the bone mineral density, get it increasing over time. Okay. Now, on top of that, when you're changing it up all the time, every time, the stress load is increased. That initial novice stimulus that you get is insane compared to when you progress over time. Like one of the markers of hypertrophy and strength gain in general is the fact that week to week stuff starts to feel lighter and easier. And that's a good thing. That's what you want. You don't want it to feel hard all the time. So sorry, I meant to ease into this topic, but kind of just jumped right in on that. So what is the solution? There's a couple of different solutions. First, like my people, like when I'm programming for them online or in person, what I try to do, because people do like variety, like there are a lot of people out there that do value not really knowing what's coming, and they like that. So I'll take you from like the, I guess you could call it like the kind of good to better to best. So let's start with like kind of good. Kind of good would be doing different variations of the same movement. So let's say that you were doing squats. Monday, you go into your box and you do like front squats. Good job. Then the second time you come in, instead of doing those front squats, you do squat with a heart pumper. That's the one where you sit down into the squat, push the weight away from you, bring it back in, and stand with like a dumbbell or a kettlebell. Then the next time you come in, you're doing like a pause squat or a pulse squat or a tempo squat, as long as it falls under the umbrella of a squat, because you're still working on the movement, you're getting better. It's not ideal because it's all a different variation and you're getting different loads depending on which type you're doing, but it is one way to kind of be better than a lot of the boxes out there or the Globo gyms and stuff that are just trying to give everybody what they want, not what they need. So another thing, so if we're going on that scale of kind of good to now good, one way you can do that is picking 4 or 5 movements to include in your workout every single week consistently and improve upon them, and then change the rest. So an example of this would be like when I'm with a client, I'll have them do a push, a pull, a legs, a core, and then like arms or more abs, depending on whatever they want. But that push, pull, and legs are all going to be consistent on that day every single week. So let's say on Monday, we go back to the squats. That would be like a front squat. every single Monday, we're going to do that front squat. Now, month to month, like we might keep that front squat in for like 2-3 months, but the surrounding things, like if we're doing a superset and we do a squat and like an abs, that abs exercise is going to change weekly, monthly, whatever, because it's going to, like in that case with abs, sometimes it can help. And then same goes for the other movements. So take that Monday, we do the squats and the abs first thing. Then we go into the arms. So we'll do like a push-up and a dumbbell row, and those will stay the same. But that third exercise with those two in that circuit. So say we did the push-ups, then we did the dumbbell row, and then that third exercise is like something like upper back or abs again, or something like that. That will be the one that changes. So you're getting the consistency, but you're getting a little variety at the same time. So you're scratching that itch while getting a lot of benefit from the consistency. That's one way to kind of get in the middle of everything. And it's not the best, but it's not the worst. Yeah. And depending on if you're that type of person that gets very bored very easily, it could be your best option, because if it comes between getting stale to the point where you don't even want to go to the gym or doing that method, then that might be your best method. And then tried and true best technique would be doing a program where like whatever your days are. So like day A, B, C, if you're doing a 3-day workout, day A is the same for like 8 to 12 weeks. Day B is different, but it stays the same for those 8 to 12 weeks. And then day C, same concept. So they could be different exercises on all 3 of those days, but those days don't change for 2 to 3 months, 8 to 12 weeks, whatever, because that's kind of in the ballpark of where you'd want to like put everything down on a program and keep doing it consistently before changing, because that 8 to 12 week mark is like kind of that sweet spot where, yeah, you can milk that exercise for all it's worth without causing any like stress injuries or anything like that, where it's like overuse or doing the same pattern too much. And then if you're a very new lifter, you could push that even further. Like if you're very, very new to the gym, there's people that have done programs like starting strength, where they only have 4 exercises that they do every single time they go into the gym, and keep running it pretty much until you stop seeing progress. So you can run it for years and be completely okay, especially if you're in that younger crowd where you can adapt really fast, not too worried about injuries as long as your form is pretty good. That would be one way to go about it. But if you're in that 40 plus range, which is the people that I'm usually accustomed to training, that would be where you'd want to change it up every 8 to 12 weeks. So that way you get the most bang for your buck. You don't beat yourself up in the process, and all good things. So those are the best way to do it. So if you want to adjust your program to make it as best as it can be, those are your options. So you could go with the straight through 8 to 12 weeks and then change it up. Or you could do 3 or 4 movements, again, 8 to 12 weeks for those moves, but then you could change up the other stuff and have some fun with it. And those are the 2 best things that you can do. Now, let's say you're in a gym where you don't exactly have control of your program. This is like the gym that I used to work at. Like we would program 4 people and they just walk in and be like, all right, coach, tell me what I'm doing today. Okay. Now, if they're that type of trainer that prefers variety, and you know it's not the best option, there's nothing wrong with having an open line of communication where you could be like, hey, listen, like I'm really trying to get good at like these 3 things, and like tell them about your 3 movements that you want to do and see if they can acclimate around, like see if they can make it work. And if they can, great. If they can't, I mean, can't win them all. If it's a consistent problem and like they're really fighting you on it and it's like an ego problem, then maybe time to find another gym. But more times than not, I haven't met a whole lot of trainers that would ever do that. So keep that line of communication open. I mean, more times than not, at least from a trainer's perspective, it's not the trainer that really wants to go variety, because I mean, a lot of trainers have run programs for 8, 12, 16 weeks. Like when they catch the powerlifting bug or something like that, and they see the value in that. It's just the fact that a million clients are like, I've already done this. Well, I want to do something new. Come on. I like, what am I paying for? That's the stuff that drives variety, and it's not necessary. It just isn't. So now that you're educated and you can get the most bang for your buck, no need to ever crave that variety just for variety's sake. And if it is between getting that variety in and not going to the gym, then by all means have at it, do a class, like enjoy, but you know what's better. You know what to do. Wow, that might have been the fastest recording that I've ever done. I don't know how long it's been, but yeah, that's it for this week's lesson. Let's see what the questions are. Do you remember a good question I got from one or two back that I didn't catch until the very end? And I think it was one from my mom. I'm not going to lie. I think it was from mom, but it was pretty much asking, what's the deal when it comes to calories and like types of foods? Like, what's most important? And when it comes to the goal, that's really what's going to drive what is like what you want to go for. So let's say your goal is fat loss. You're going to want to focus more on the calories as far as like making sure that you're eating the right amount of foods to drive the scale in the right direction. That being said, it's not easy to do that when you're eating nothing but pizza, burgers, fries. You're going to be hungry all the time. You're going to be miserable all the time if that is the majority of your diet. That's why whole foods more times than not are ideal. And if you want to make sure that like the numbers are right, keep a protein goal somewhere around like 80% to 100% of your body weight in grams. So like I'm 200 pounds, 200 or 160 grams to 200 grams for me. And that's assuming that you're active. If you're not in the gym all the time, your protein needs are not that high. But if you're getting those 2 to 4 days a week, like we talk about every week here, your protein needs are a little higher than most to get the full benefits of recovery and all that good stuff. But back to the question, when it comes to all that, like numbers wise, the numbers matter top priority. Like if you fall off a little bit and have a bad week or a bad day, not the end of the world. But like it's not an exact science, but more times than not, when you have the whole foods making up the majority of that diet, say like 80% of the diet, it's going to be easier to stick to. You're going to feel better. You're going to go to the bathroom easier. You're going to like, everything's going to be a lot better. So quality does matter. Now, let's say you're like kind of in the middle, you're like maintaining and you don't really want to go up or down. Again, same concept applies. If the number is right, your weight's going to stay where it is. Maybe you'll fluctuate 3 to 5 pounds like most people do. But on average, like the weekly average, if you were to weigh yourself 7 days a week, it should be relatively about the same exact thing. You want to keep the calories in check. Whole foods make it easier. But again, if you go off a little bit, not the end of the world. And when you're trying to add weight, quality counts even less, in my opinion. Now, I know you want to absorb everything. So you want to make sure that like your gut's in good shape and you're not eating anything that's bloating you to hell, or like you don't want to eat stuff that like sends you to the bathroom. So definitely avoid foods like that. But when it comes to like good versus bad foods, if you're trying to put weight on, sometimes those bad foods can be good for the goal. Now, there are cases where powerlifters, strong men have done insane things. Like I've heard of people putting like olive oil on top of pizza just to get enough calories. You never want to get to that point, because that's just unhealthy for many, many reasons, mentally, physically, emotionally, like not a good place to be. But if you are that person, like if you have a teenager or something that's trying to put a little weight on, them eating white rice at dinner while you eat salad is perfectly okay. Or if they want to have like a little extra candy here and there, like because they're trying to put weight on for like football or wrestling or something like that, and you don't like having candy in the house, then I mean, for them, it could help. So them keeping a little bit of like Snickers bars or Sour Patch or even like rice cakes or something in their room could be ideal. But yeah, the numbers still got to count up. Like if you're trying to put weight on, you got to be in a surplus of calories. And not a huge one, because otherwise it's all fat, but a slight surplus. Like if you're going like hard on the numbers, let's say your maintenance is like 2,500 calories, add 500 to that and see what happens to the weight. If it doesn't go up, add another 250 to 500 and go from there. Same with the weight. So let's say your maintenance is 2,500, go to 2,000, see what happens. And yeah, that's one way you can do it. Numbers over everything, but quality helps so much with adherence. That was a good question by Mom. I can't help but think it might have been a little bit prompted. Threw up a meatball there, soft pitch. Let me knock it out of the park. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. So I hope that everybody learned a little something. Hope you have an awesome week, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a 5-star review. If you know somebody that can benefit from this information, be sure to share it with them. And if you want to catch all the upcoming episodes, make sure that you go ahead and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.